And what a great way to welcome high school football back in Stark County. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for waking up with us here on the Saturday Morning Huddle. It is the Dan Brockers Import Automotive Saturday Morning Huddle. Billy Beebe, Kenny Rhoda with you. I wish we could say well-rested, but we've had a heck of a week here, the two of us and our team here at WHBC, as we begin our 80th year of high school football. Yes, 80 years high school football has been on 1480 WHBC, and it's only gotten better. The Huddle's part of that, the YouTube game of the week, the audio game of the week, everything we kind of have going. Kenny, good morning. How are you?
Well, I fell asleep about 10 o'clock last night after getting back from the left coast, and we'll get into the Nike Kickoff Classic with Maslin and NFL Academy UK. And woke up about 8 o'clock this morning. So there, you got a shirt. I did not. That's kudos to you for working hard for that. So not well rested, even though I slept however many hours that is. And then we're up bright and early, though. It's week one. The show must go on. No excuses, right? So we're going to bring you the huddle here today. We've got some guests. We've got highlights. We've got some stats. You and I were trying to catch up on all the teams in Stark County. Kind of hard to do when you were out west and coming back last night and everything, but we'll have as much as possible here today to kick off week number one of the Huddle.
Lake head coach Dan DeGeorge will join us at 10:15. McKinley head coach Antonio Hall will join us at 10:45. Big wins for both those guys. Lake, very exciting there. And of course, McKinley getting off on the right foot in kind of a historic matchup, a matchup a lot of people have talked about over the years. We will also watch an interview with head coach Nate Moore after our game that we'll get into plenty. And then we'll watch an interview with coach AJ Sarbaugh, which our Frank Salona did at the Sandy Valley Fairless game, which I think that's where we should start, Kenny, right?
Well, yeah, I guess if you want to, we can do that, because that's the highlight you opened the show with, right? A goal line stand for the Fairless Falcons. Aha! I still have that in me, even though it's early this morning. And here it is, game on the line, 21-14 lead. Sandy Valley with the ball, chance to take it in and possibly tie the game, stop just short of the goal line, and Fairless holds on for the win. The team celebrates, and AJ is going to talk more about that, here in a few minutes. But a great game, as it always is, between these two smaller schools, and they leave it all out there. You can see the dejection from the Sandy Valley players, the excitement from AJ trying to coach things. Hey, get off the field, get off the field. Let's make sure everything's good. But what a great way for the Falcons to start the season, getting the win, and a tough way for Sandy Valley to lose in their season opener.
I would agree. I mean, you talked about that's the agony of defeat. That's the thrill of victory. And Frank asked a great question that we'll watch here in just a minute with Coach Sarbaugh. What is it about this game? Every single year, it doesn't matter who left, who stayed, who's playing what position. This thing always comes down to the wire, always comes down to those few final minutes. Want to give our man Jordan Miller credit for both these photos and that final video. You'll always catch Jordan out and about, getting after it with these games. So it was great to have him still contributing to the huddle with us, and we appreciate him. But again, Kenny, another look at it. Inches, right?
Yeah.
Inches. That's that Rams Titans Super Bowl, that reach out, almost there, couldn't quite get it. The knees down and the reach isn't quite there, but such a thrilling ending between Sandy Valley and Fairless.
Absolutely, and that's the way these two teams always seem to play for the most part. Every once in a while, there's a blowout in there, or one team's more dominant, but for the most part, it's a great matchup, and this one lived up to the billing in week number one on a Thursday night, mind you, too, to kick off the season.
Yeah, do we want to go to that Coach Sarbaugh interview?
Absolutely. Let's do it right now.
All right, our Frank Salona after the game with Coach AJ Sarbaugh.
AJ Sarbaugh joins us here after the ball game tonight, 21-14, Fairless with the win. AJ, what is it about this game?
First of all, you have two really good coaching staffs. Like at this level with the Gambles and the Thomases, and I love our staff. So I think our kids are really prepared well. and we get the most out of our kids. And we both have programs, I think, that have trended in the right direction the last 7-8 years. And these kids play really, really hard. And as Coach Hurler always says, week ones are week ones. You never know what you're going to get.
Your thoughts, though, as Graybill takes that ball up the middle and then, boom, right at the 1 yard line, and it's over.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we had him sacked, and then he somehow, I mean, credit to him, man. He made some great plays with his feet tonight, and we were lucky to stop him 1 yard short because, I mean, you'd have to ask Brian, but I thought if they scored, he was going to go for 2 like we did a few years ago. I was scared to death of it, but unbelievable game. What great effort by both teams. Great way to open up the 2024 season in Stark County. It don't get much better than that.
Sounds good, Coach. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. Go Falcons, go.
How about AJ? No voice left, right? He sounded like Coach Luke, who used to coach the Cavaliers. You know, that's who he sounded like. And it's only week 1. If he's losing his voice and it's only week 1, imagine what it's going to be like in week 10.
Yeah, and a great comment from Coach there. I like that, Kenny. I don't know if I could have handled overtime. I was worried he was going to go for it. You know, another dramatic play in, as we talked about, a matchup that never disappoints. You know, back and forth. Great stuff there with Sandy Valley and Fairless.
Yeah, so they kick it off in an exciting fashion. And, Billy, I think we got to get to our game, too, because we traveled across the country all the way to the West Coast in the Kickoff Classic presented by Nike, and you did a fabulous job with your social media posts, footage, as well as, photos, and everybody can get a look. This was the field that the game was played on. It's a soccer field turned into a football field. Look at those goalposts. They literally rolled those goalposts out to make it a football field, and we got a chance to take a tour of the entire campus. At least 278 acres is what I read. The LeBron James, what was that? The activity center, or what was the LeBron James building, Billy? You went inside it.
Innovation Center.
So there's the Massillon Tigers team, a photo, in front of LeBron's building, the Serena Williams building. Dan Fouts, who was on the Kenny and JT show, we saw a building named after him. Mike Schmidt, former great baseball player. It was just an amazing experience for those kids, I'm sure, for us as well. Dan Belford, yours truly, Billy Beebe, able to go out there and bring you the Nike Kickoff Classic. But it was more than just the game. A fact here that stands out to me is they could have picked anybody to play NFL Academy UK, and they picked the team from Stark County and the Massillon Tigers to make this journey. And yes, Massillon is a Nike school. They're one of 35, I think, Nike elite schools, but they picked them to come out and play that game. And it looked like it was going to be a blowout, right? And we're going to get to these highlights in a second. It looked like it was going to be a blowout by Massillon, but then the NFL Academy, with kids from over 19 different countries, answered the call and made a game of it. And it was a game going into the fourth quarter. But Massillon ends up getting the victory, as everybody listened to on Thursday here on WHBC and Mix 94.1. Massillon gets the win 35-20.
Physical game, high scoring, a lot of laundry on the field, a lot of flags, which I know you can give more of an opinion on that. Sometimes when I'm on the sidelines, I'm locked in on pictures and videos and fans, and, you guys are the ones doing just the game. So, that aspect of it, very interesting. But like you said, Kenny, as we check out the beginning here, right away, Massillon up the field. They were throwing and running it, but Jameer Gamble got going early. He had 2 touchdowns early, and they let the NFL Academy know this is what American football looks like. It's tough, it's physical, and it's fast. And they had the Academy, again, on their heels up 14-0, but with some laundry, things kind of even out, but I always felt Massillon was in the driver's seat here.
Well, let's give everybody who didn't listen to the game an idea of what happened. It was 14-0, and they dominated the first 2 possessions for each team. Negative yards for the NFL Academy on the first 2 possessions. 2 touchdowns for Massillon, up 14-0. Looks like Massillon goes up 21-0. But a couple of penalties called 2 touchdowns back, right? So neither of them count. And then all of a sudden, the NFL Academy, boom, they tie it up at 14-all. And we were on the sideline of the NFL Academy, and you could see the kids were feeling good about themselves and believed that they could come back in this game and make a game of it. They did, but Massillon then, a huge play, turning point in this game. It was a 14-all game, and the NFL Academy UK was going for it on 4th and inches deep in Massillon territory. Massillon's defense gets the big stop, Billy, and then about a minute and a half left, Jalen Slaughter, who had a huge game, leads them down the field for a touchdown right before halftime to take a 21-14 lead and gain that momentum back. And then they score on their first possession of the second half to go up, 28-14 at that point. And that's when it was, looked like Massillon was in control, even though it got to 28-20 at one point in the contest.
Yeah, I agree with you on all those points as far as, where the game kind of was and how it shifted. And really, it could have felt like Massillon could have been up 35-0 heading into halftime. And then when they got out of it, I think they had a bit of a chip on their shoulder. They were a little mixed and a little angry with how things had gone, both for them personally and with the referees. As we said, a lot of laundry on the field. Some of my best videos, some of my best pictures just couldn't use because they didn't end up they didn't matter. They were called back. They were taken back. Braylon Tolles had this great snag. I have it on my personal Twitter. Took it away from the defender, turned and dove into the end zone, and that ended up getting called back on. You had a legal man downfield at points. You had, Nate Moore was called for a penalty. I mean, just tons and tons of different things going on. But you said it best. They buckled down. They took the game back in control, and they rolled with it, and they made plays when it counted. You mentioned that 4th down stop. You mentioned the touchdown before halftime. I think they had a minute. What was it? A minute 20 maybe? And it was
right about a minute and a half, somewhere in that vicinity. And they went right down. Jalen Slaughter was perfect.
Boom, boom, touchdown. They left 20 seconds, and you definitely felt like NFL Academy kind of took a step back and said, man, I thought we were back in this. Now all of a sudden we're down 21-14, and Massillon's going to open the second half with the ball. We will get more into that game because another part of that game I want to mention, Kenny, was the atmosphere. We got Coach DeGeorge waiting on us here in just a second.
All right, very good.
A lot of people asked us, what's the stadium look like? What's the seating look like? Why does it look like that? Why is it not a stadium? Why is it just a field? We'll jump into all that because I do think that was an interesting aspect of the game. It was a fun aspect, more interesting than helpful to both teams. But we will jump into that as we are happy to welcome our first guests of the season here on the Saturday Morning Huddle. We've got Coach Dan DeGeorge and senior linebacker Charlie Christopher. Guys, good morning. Can you hear us all right?
Morning, yes. Can you hear us?
Sounding good, fellas. How are we this morning after a big win last night?
Doing great. Little tired, but appreciate you guys having us on.
Coach, I want to find out, you went back to my neck of the woods, Western Pennsylvania, right? WPIAL is a big league they play in out in Western Pennsylvania. You go to McKeesport, Pennsylvania to start your season. Let's go there. Massillon went to Oregon. You went to McKeesport. You both take big trips against good programs, right? How did this game come about? I'm curious.
Yeah, great question. I've gotten that a lot. Not something that we were looking to do or really wanted to do, but we just couldn't find a week 1 game. Couldn't find anything locally. This came up in the late spring as an opportunity. A team had dropped out, so I took it just because we had nothing else for week 1. And it was a long day. I mean, over 2 hour bus ride, playing a really quality team. In a tough environment, to be honest with you. But our kids just kept fighting, man. We found a way to win. So it's a big win for us. Not something we want to get in the habit of doing every year, week 1, though.
Yeah, Coach, as far as this game goes, we just heard from AJ Sarbaugh at Fairless. You never know what you're going to get in week 1, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And when we found out we were playing McKeesport, we started looking into them a little bit more. And then we started realizing that, they have a handful of big-time D1 players. They're top school out there in that league every year. Wasn't quite sure I knew what we signed up for until we saw them on film. And like I said, it was a dogfight. They're well coached, have some really, really good players. A good week 1 win for us. Absolutely.
All right, let's turn attention here to Charlie. And Charlie, for you, you've never backed down from any confrontation, any challenge, right? I know that about you. You love it. So from a player standpoint, what was it like out there in week one going head-to-head against a good team and you contributing in such a big way?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we made the trip out there, and we knew we had to get the job done. We're going to go 2 hours, and I think a lot of people doubted us, and that really motivated us and the team. And we just went out there with some fire under us, and we just wanted to get the job done. And we knew we could beat them. We watched a lot of film the whole week, and we knew we had a chance.
And Billy, for everybody just joining us on the Huddle that hasn't maybe looked online to see what happened, 36-35 was the final in 2 overtimes. You couldn't make it easy, Coach. I guess you figured we went this far. Let's play as many minutes of high school football in week one as we can. So take me through that as the game's unfolding, and this goes double overtime.
Sure, yeah. First of all, it was a 5 o'clock start, which is a little bit different for us. Typically you're starting at 7. I think the game was over at 8:35, so it was a long game. There was a lot of penalties, a lot of stoppage for radio timeouts. And again, they jumped up. They were up 21-7 on us, and our kids just kept fighting. We found a way to go on a long drive and cut it to a 1-score game. Charlie blocked a huge punt in the fourth quarter, which gave us a touchdown to tie the game. And then defensively, we just kept playing and got them to overtime. And Pennsylvania rules, their overtime's a little bit different. You start at the 10-yard line in Pennsylvania. So we played those rules, and you just keep going from the 10-yard line back and forth until someone wins the game.
Wow.
Our guys wanted to go for 2 in the second overtime to win it. That's what we did, and we found a way to get it done.
Yeah, and let's watch that play. Coach, before I play this, I got to give your principal credit. I had seen it online. I sent him an email just before I go to bed if I can have the video. He was working past midnight. He sent this to me. So key play here, and I'll ask you guys both to kind of walk us through your thinking and your point of view on this final play here.
Go ahead, Coach. Start it for us.
Yeah, we're in our Wildcat set here where we're 2 tight ends, a couple fullbacks, and Charlie. We like to run the ball with Charlie in that set. The other thing about Charlie, he's very good with the ball in his hands, obviously a great linebacker, but he's by far our best blocking back as well. The quarterback in this situation had 3 touchdowns running this pretty much the same play, and that's because Charlie was leading them home. Our offensive line did an adequate job. We actually blocked it wrong, found a way to sneak in. But it was just big on big. We talked about we wanted to maybe do a play action. We decided as a staff, my offense coordinator, Coach Gouling, and my offensive line coaches, let's run downhill behind our best dudes, and we found a way to get it done.
Hey, Charlie, before you chime in on this, Coach, who was that quarterback that scored this 2-point conversion?
DeGeorge is his name.
How did that feel for you, Coach? And I know as a coach, you've got to make decisions like this all the time, who to go with at quarterback. And I thought I saw a couple of quarterbacks played in this from the stats and that, but to have your son as part of this team and running the offense for you and going to him in that situation.
Yeah, no, I just trusted the calls, trusted my coaches. Ty's playing some quarterback. Our starter, Alex Squire, did a really good job for us last night. Ty's coming in some situational stuff in the red zone. He's also playing some free safety for us. Both Ty and Alex are very good football players, very good friends. They just want to win, both very similar. So at the end of the day, we're just trying to win football games, and however we get that done is okay. But no, it was a special moment, not just because it was my son, but just because all these guys are my kids, man. That's how I feel about them. And it was great for them to just keep fighting in a tough environment with a lot of adversity and find a way to win. It was a good bus ride home.
Yeah, I'm imagining it was. Billy, can you throw it up again? Charlie, take us through it from your viewpoint as the game's on the line and this is the call.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the whole second half I was cramping up, and I knew it was going to be the last play of the game, and my number got called, so I knew I had to go in there and do my job, and I knew Ty was going to get the ball, and I just wanted him to run right off my butt, and he did it. He dove right in, and it was a great play, and everyone did a great job.
He did a great – go ahead, Billy.
The extended version here, Charlie, walk us through after the play. What was that celebration like? Looked really fun on the sideline.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. I mean, so much relief washed over us and everything. I mean, us one of the longest and hardest games we've played. I mean, just to win in overtime and double overtime and on a 2-point conversion was just unbelievable. I mean, there was a big part of the game we were down 2 touchdowns and we didn't know if we were going to be able to get back in it or not. So it was awesome.
Coach, that's week 1. You still have 9 more weeks to go, man, right? I mean, it wasn't easy there, but the end result is all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things we were talking about on the long bus ride home last night is that was almost like a playoff game situation for us in week 1. A lot of adversity, facing a really, really good team. Their tailback is going to Penn State, the number 1 tailback in the nation in the class of 27. And we found a way to defend them. He still had 3 touchdowns. He's a player. But, yeah, it was just a really, really good team. And just proud of our efforts. We've been watching film this morning, and there's a lot of mistakes we made that are fixable. So while we're happy with the win, of course, we still know we can improve a lot, and we're excited about that opportunity to do so.
Billy, I want to chime in one more quick question here, okay? Western PA guy like that. And I remember bus rides after great victories, and short bus rides after great victories are okay. But long bus rides after great victories are fantastic. So, Charlie, the celebration on the field was fun. How much fun was that bus ride home, though?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it was definitely better than going home quiet and everyone's got their heads down. So it was awesome. And the entire time we were all laughing, walking around. We were just having a great time together and really bonding as a team. Tons of laughs.
Coach, my question for you, a lot of teams locally didn't quite come out ready to go week 1, had some struggles week 1. Anything you guys took from your off season that you feel helped you? And same to you, Charlie. What did you guys do this off season to come ready for week 1?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with our off season. We had the best overall off season we've ever had as far as breaking records. And Charlie was at the top of that board all over the place and had a handful of other guys that smashed some records. Overall, our senior leadership has been really, really good. So I think that definitely helped us because we're not the fastest team, but we're strong. And a lot of our kids got way stronger over the off season, and a lot of them worked on being in better shape as well. Go hit that light. Sorry, we got automatic lights here. It's back.
Hey, we have that in the studio too. We're used to it, Coach.
Yeah. But even Charlie, for example, his whole body was cramping up last night in the middle of the third quarter. He had to come out for a little bit, and he wanted nothing more just to get back in the game. And he kept stretching and hydrating and found a way to come back in, which a lot of guys probably wouldn't in that situation. Made tons of tackles for us defensively, and also led us to, the winning touchdown drive, blocking for us as well. So our guys stepped up, but I think the approach in the offseason was huge, led by our strength and conditioning coach, Charlie's dad, Matt Christopher. He does a great job for us. Coach Scott Tripp, Coach Viscount, we're here every day as well. So our guys put a lot in that showed.
Charlie, explain to our viewers, our listeners, however they're getting the Saturday morning huddle, cramping and what that feels like, because we constantly talk about it as broadcasters, media members during the early months of the season, right? And we see kids going down all the time. You think you prepared for it and you didn't. So explain to them how painful and what that's like.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, all of a sudden, literally the first play of the second half, I just start feeling my legs start locking up, and I'm trying to move around. Every time if I make a tackle or go on the ground, I get up and start trying to jog it off. And then, after about 5 plays, my legs just literally every single muscle in both my legs just locked up completely. And it was pulsating. It hurt so bad. I couldn't move my legs. They were both stretched out. I mean, it was terrible.
Coach, did you not give them pickle juice that I gave you a couple of years ago at the coaches' dinner for everybody or what?
Yeah, we actually talked about that. I'll tell you this. I mean, in Charlie, in all my years, Charlie's probably one of the guys that does all the prep stuff during the week that you're supposed to do. He eats the right way. He stays hydrated. He does all the extra stuff. So things like that wouldn't happen. And the point is, it still happens to your best players and your most prepared players, right? If Charlie wouldn't have prepped like he did all summer and all off season, he probably wouldn't have been able to come back into the game last night. So, and that happened to McKeesport, and that ended up helping us. They started dropping like flies as well because of cramps, because it was a long game. There were 7 or 8 stoppages because of cramps. So it was happening all over the place. I think one of the things that helped us is we were the better conditioned team overall at the end of the game in the second overtime.
That's awesome. And next up, Boardman, right, Coach? So enjoy this one today, and then on to Boardman.
Yeah, absolutely. We're watching film right now. My coaching staff's already breaking down the Boardman games that we have, and we're excited about the opportunity. We got to get a lot better because our schedule is very tough, but we're definitely excited to be 1-0.
Outstanding, Billy. Anything else you got for these guys, or are we going to go let them rest and get ready for next week?
I like it, guys. Congratulations on the win. Way to represent Stark County, leaving, going to PA and taking it there. And Charlie, honored to have you on. I think this was your first time with us, so we appreciate you jumping on, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for what you do.
You got it, Coach. Best of luck to you and Charlie the rest of the season. How about that? Don't have a game. Okay, we'll play this game. Let's go to Pennsylvania. So we had two teams starting outside the state of Ohio to kick off their season. As Lake goes to PA, and you've got Massillon going all the way to Oregon, and both come away with victories. And a nice way for those two teams you mentioned, and we'll get to the scores, Billy, that a lot of teams in Stark County did not have a good week one. For those two teams, though, those are huge wins, right? For Lake, like he said, it was a playoff atmosphere in week one, and the same for Massillon. So kudos to Coach DeGeorge and to Nate Moore having their teams ready to rock and roll in week one.
Yeah, and Charlie Christopher, that's a name we've heard for 3 years now, right, Kenny? That's been a sophomore making a difference, a junior making a difference, and now his senior year, Coach DeGeorge talked about it. He's breaking records in the weight room. They're getting prepped for the season. They were ready to rock week one. They took on a major challenge in going 2 hours away, playing a team. You can prep, but if you've never played that team, it's difficult, right? And they rose to the challenge. New rules?
Yeah.
You kidding me? They kept to the new rules?
Yeah, and remember this. People know the name Christopher in Stark County for a long time because his dad, who's on the staff, right, Matt, played at Ohio State. So, you know, that name has been around for quite some time, with Stark County people.
Yeah, really fun ending to that game. And again, that's what you get when you subscribe to our YouTube channel and you watch us every Saturday morning. We're bringing you plays like that. Again, we appreciate the principal of Lake who got that to me. And I think it was Charlie's dad who actually took it. Posted on Twitter, and it made its round, so we appreciate it. That's the kind of thing we like to do here on the Huddle is get those plays out there. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I know we had, like you said, we had a ton of content up from Oregon and a lot of our stuff from the other games. Also, pocket schedules. I got mine right here.
Got mine. There it is.
We were passing these out in Oregon. They are available. So stop by the WHBC studios. That's on Market Avenue any day of the week from 9 to 5. We'll get you as many as you need to a reasonable amount. I've had some tough asks. We've also, if you see somebody at the game that you know is from WHBC, ask them. Myself, if you see Derek Philo wandering around, Frank Salona, any member of the radio team, Kenny, Mark Miller, who we'll have on in just a second. Say, hey, I need a pocket schedule. I need 5 pocket schedules. I'm going to tap you at 5. I got asked for 20 last year at a game. I got asked for 30 at a game. So usually we do about 5 or 10. But, hey, get your hands on these. What's your team? Open this bad boy up. You got their schedule on there. You can roll through.
Yeah. And I'll have some at the games we do radio-wise, and we'll hand them out until they're all gone, and they go fast. So ask quickly. Hey, real quick, how cool is it that Ty DeGeorge, his son? I know, and you tend to downplay it as a coach, but I got to believe that's real. You and I were talking about the quarterback situation there, and Ty DeGeorge, Alex Quire, those guys, they've been successful using a 2-quarterback system, right?
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, you question whether or not that can work. Well, Dan's made it work. And so kudos to them for that. How about that? He scores the 2-point conversion. And then in our game, Billy, Massillon 35, NFL Academy UK 20, Jalen Slaughter 29 of 44 for 387 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions in that game, as he was slinging it all over the field against that academy team from Europe, and just did a great job. And he now has the 3rd most passing yards in a single game in Massillon football history. Our good buddy Justin Zwick threw for 407 and 402, 387 is the third most in Massillon history. So a great start for Jalen Slaughter, who returns for his senior season and returns as the starting quarterback after DeJuan Owens kind of took over that job last year and led them to their first ever playoff state championship. Hey, they're off to another great start as they picked up their 17th consecutive victory and the 100th in Nate Moore's career.
That was a really fun game to watch. We will jump more into that. Yes, we're going to talk a lot about that. This was a game, this was a trip, and this was a tour of a facility. So you get three things going there. A lot happening on our trip to Oregon. However, I'm very excited.
How about this?
Get our next guest on. Our guy, Mark Miller, is on location. We'll let him explain. He looks ready to go. Mark, good morning. Can you hear us good?
I can. Can you hear me?
Looking good. I Ziggy Zumba right out of the gate.
Zumba, welcome back, guys. We love listening to you. It was awesome. That's very, very cool. Way to start the 80th season, huh?
Well, and we want to thank you because we were, Billy and Bells and I were just exhausted when we got back yesterday. So you manned the fort for us. I filled in for you. You filled in for us. And you guys had a great game last night between Hoover and Buchtel as our featured radio game of the week.
Well, the JVs are over. It's time for the varsity to get back together. We'll look forward to next Friday night and wait on Denny to heal up that back. I understand he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, it is. So Mark, tell us about this game. Buchtel gets the win 22-16, but it was a lot closer than the 6-point difference there because of what happened late.
Yeah, Hoover actually dominated the first half. And right at the end, Buchtel goes in, gets a 2-point conversion, goes into the locker room with a 1-point lead. But I think everybody in the place would agree that Hoover was by far the best team in the first half. I don't know what happened in the locker room because Buchtel walked around. They were slow. They were lethargic. In the second half, the defense, they must have given them a lot of coffee or something. They were fired up, man. They were blitzing. The defensive backs were hitting and knocking people out. It was two different teams, at least on defense. Offense was still kind of lethargic. They scored that last one on a blocked field goal, picked it up and ran it in. So it really was a 1-point game. Hoover had lots of chances to go ahead, had 2 field goals blocked, had another one just barely miss. The offense really got stagnated after dominating in a power run game in the first half. So I'm sure that Coach Baum will get them organized. You know, you say a lot of improvement between weeks 1 and 2. They need it because they were not a very good football team last night. And the quarterback issue still to be resolved. Collins gave him a spark running the football. He got hurt on one of those big hits right as he was about to cross the goal line with probably the winning touchdown. Brocker came on and took him all the way down the field for a field goal attempt, got blocked. So, yeah, they showed some sparks. The defense was very good, as we expected. The run game with A.J. Dolph was very good, but they've got a lot to fix, and I'm sure they're in there right now fixing it. We know that.
And, Mark, this is a great opportunity to talk special teams. You and I were at Canton South last year when they played Buchtel, and we were talking special teams before the game because the wind was blowing, it was cold, it was late in the season. But let's focus on last night. What goes into an extra point, a field goal, both with a kicker and blocking that maybe they had those struggles last night that either it was blocked or they missed?
Yeah, you're right, Billy. And last year they didn't have a kicker. They still don't have a kicker. Their kickoffs went about 20 yards and they were not attempted squibs or onsides. They just couldn't kick it. So we knew a field goal on their end was not a possibility, but their defensive front got a push. And really what special teams is timing and assignments. The guys up front have to do their assignment. If one guy leaves a gap open, there's a chance for a block. If the timing is off at all between the snapper, holder, and kicker, you got a late kick and it's going to get blocked. The 2 that got blocked were fairly long. One was really long, like 51 and a half yards, and they came out really low. I think that's the last one. I'm not sure it was blocked. It may have hit an offensive lineman in the back and ricocheted back. So, they've got some of that timing stuff to work out, but the defensive line of Buchtel just dominated those attempts. They just were pushing the offensive lineman of Hoover back into the backfield, after the opposite happening in the first half. Hoover's offensive line in the power run game, ISO right, ISO left, a little fullback trap up inside, they just knocked people around. So, halftime really flipped the script on this game, that's for sure.
Wow.
We're happy to have Mark Miller with us here on the Saturday Morning Huddle. He is our radio analyst, former Canton South QB. He's at Bowling Green watching practice right now. He played there, so he's a former Falcon. And, of course, he was with the Cleveland Browns, Michigan Panthers, USFL champion. We're thrilled to have him with us here today. And, Mark, when you look at Hoover overall, defensively, they only gave up, 14 points. So I've got to believe defensively, Brian Baum has to feel good today, while on special teams, 3 missed field goals, right, and only a total of 16 points. That's where the focus will be?
I think you're right. And Buchtel really only had one decent drive. Everything else was pretty much 3 and out. The early score that they got was on a punt return that ill-advised returner tried to pick it up right before it rolled dead. He missed it. The other guy covered it on the 11-yard line, and a couple of plays later, Stevie Diamond, how about that for a name, the quarterback from Buchtel, he ran it in, and he was a really good athlete. Billy, you remember him from down at Canton South last year. He is very skilled, throws it really well. They got a couple of big receivers. They play that City League schedule. They'll win some games. They were 6-6 last year, got beat in the second round of the playoffs, and they're pretty good. So it's not like Hoover laid down and got beat by a bad team, but they certainly the potential to be a better team and be 1-0 today instead of 0-1.
Well, and I remember that secondary too, Mark. They were hitting Canton South very hard in the playoffs, so no surprise that they Buchtel enters year 2 of those corners making plays. My question for you is, a lot of teams locally run 2 quarterbacks and it's planned and the drives are planned. How chaotic can it be for a team if things are happening? Like you said, a guy is giving a spark and then gets injured and then you got to switch, but you're still in the game. Meanwhile, your special teams is missing. I mean, did it feel pretty chaotic for Hoover?
Well, they pretty much went with Brocker. And every now and then they'd put Collins in, but he would run it every time and was very successful at it. Well, then in the second half, when they just couldn't move it at all, the run game went south also. A.J. Dolph had just under 100 yards at halftime and finished with not many over 100. So the second half, they shut him down. But they started to go with Collins a little bit more. And like I said, he was in there to run the ball, and he was just about crossing the goal line, and they drilled him, and the ball came out and actually placed it down just outside the goal line. I mean, it was less than inside a yard. And a penalty, of course, there's no yardage because there's nowhere to move the football, right? They end up on third down, taking a shotgun in the end zone and just throwing a Hail Mary and got a pass interference call. That's how they got out of their own end zone. And so lots of penalties on Hoover. I don't know what Collins' injury is. He did not come back in the game. They were looking at his midsection, could be ribs, could be got the air knocked out of him. I don't know. But I think they both give Hoover something, and they may go with 2 quarterbacks for a while. But here's the thing about Brocker playing quarterback. You sacrifice the best defensive back maybe in the league, right? And the best receiver in the league. He was All-Ohio last year. So you're losing 2 positions to let him play quarterback part-time. At some point, the coaches are going to have to decide, are we a stronger team by letting Collins be the full-time quarterback and letting Brocker be defense and offense, filling 2 positions instead of 1.
That's a great point, Mark. Well, we appreciate you doing a great job last night. As we said, we switched roles and everything. We'll be back. We're getting the band, most of it, back together. As you said, Denny, get well next week. Thanks for getting up this morning and making the journey to BG to watch practice, but also be on the huddle with us.
Oh, you bet. I'm up here at season ticket day. There's lots of people running around. The band's going to play. We got athletic department leadership council meetings this afternoon. It is a great day to be in Falcon Land, and the weather is certainly cooperating. Thanks, guys. Appreciate what you do, man.
All right, there he is. Mark Miller, our quarterback, our analyst. I Ziggy Zumba, another Falcon flying high this morning, Billy.
We had just talked about what Mark said on the pregame show Thursday night. We talked about Do you want to go with Brocker because it means he's not a receiver now, and he's also going to be at the least more tired, if not playing defensive back, because you don't want to risk losing him. So big decision for Hoover to make there. If I'm correct, Kenny, I think it was 16-13, and Hoover was kicking a field goal to send it to overtime, and it got blocked and taken back.
Here's the situation. Here's what it was, Billy. I wrote it down. I did some research this morning. It was 14-13. Buchtel was on top, and that field goal was to take the lead. They block it, return it from what I read, and again, this is online, and they go up 20-13, and they went for two. I'm sorry, I got my things wrong here. It was 16. What? It was Billy.
Yeah, I'm going on Josh Weir from their podcast.
Go ahead, then take Josh's, because again, this is another website I read it off of. So go ahead.
No, that's okay. And just so we can relay what was it? It was 16-13. Hoover was kicking to send it to overtime. That's what it was. Final play of the game. So that's why they only get 6 when they run that kickback. Unfortunately, only time we've ever seen that was that had happened to the Browns a few years ago, and that caused a loss. My only point with that, though, Kenny, is Mark talked about the missed field goals, right?
Yeah.
So if they hit 2 of 3, they're up and have the ball. They're probably running the clock out at that point. So again, and we talk about it so much on this show because we know the emphasis is that you have to put on it. Special teams matters.
Yep.
Kicking matters. And when a kid is giving time to special teams and plays special teams, Mark said it. If one guy does something wrong, it costs you on special teams. So, hey, when you meet a kid and he says, "Oh, I'm special teams captain," or "I play special teams," that's games. That's games on the line that kid's contributing to.
Yeah. So 16-13, late chance to tie it, force overtime, another overtime game possibly. It is either, as Mark said, either kicked low into one of the linemen or it was blocked. It's scoop and score. They go the distance, 22-16 to end the game. The 2-point conversion, my bad. Early morning was the win for Lake. So I guess here's the thing. We looked at, and we'll get to some of the other scores. A lot of teams got blown out from Stark County last night.
Yeah.
That to me is more demoralizing than here you are with a chance to win. If you're, Brian Baum and you blew it, right? And so at least you were in the game, felt like you probably should have won that game, right? Because almost everybody makes the playoffs. So this one doesn't come back to, haunt you later in the season. So I've got to feel, even though that question mark is there at quarterback, Brian Baum has more to be feeling good about this morning than a lot of other teams who got blown out in Stark County last night.
I'm going to agree with you, and I'll also add in there that, you'd rather be prepared and have those losses done when you enter league play.
Yes.
When you start taking on the federal league rather than Buchtel or somebody like that. So some chaoticness in the league for sure. And Stark County locally, so many things were happening and just, very interesting stuff there. I don't know. Just a weird week, right?
Yeah. It happens.
A lot of
some teams are feeling really good about themselves, right? McKinley gets a win to start the season on Thursday night. Fairless gets a win to start the season on Thursday night. Massillon starts on a Thursday night, gets you know what I mean? So there are some teams that are happy with the way things went in week 1, but knowing coaches like I know coaches, even the ones who won, they're probably unhappy with some things that didn't go the way they wanted them to go, right, in week 1. And so little things still to work on, for all the teams. And here's it is week 1. And you heard AJ Sarbaugh way back at the beginning of the huddle today. You don't know what to expect, right? So, maybe a blowout is because a team wasn't mentally ready, or maybe it was because they were just, beaten by a better team. So week 1 is a learning experience, win or lose for everybody, and you try and correct the mistakes.
Yeah, I agree. And to put this matter to bed here, I was incorrect. Kenny was correct. I'm reading Josh. I misread Josh's tweet when it said the deciding play. I thought it was the final play. It was 14-13. It was at halftime 14-13, and then at the end of the game there. So I want to make sure you get your credit, Josh. We get credit from the repository. Very chaotic ending there. Chaotic ending for Lake. That was such a fun watch to see them celebrating on the sideline, Kenny, and they took on the challenge of going on the road. Sandy Valley Fairless, a chaotic and kind of weird ending. You talked about it earlier this morning. We were kind of discussing it. Locally, a tough start for a lot of teams, but we almost knew that a lot of teams were going to have to figure a few things out because of the talent that was lost. A lot of kids moved on, and kids move on every year. We understand that, but did it feel like to you that now more than ever, a couple teams had to figure things out on the fly?
Oh, absolutely. I look. I mean, VS Villa Angela St. Joe's beat Glen Oak 42-7. Now, VASJ. I always get St. Vincent, St. Mary, and Villa Angela St. Joe's mixed up, right? So VASJ. Bo Jackson, kid's going to Ohio State, right? And Scotty Garcia said last night he may be the best running back he's ever seen. He ran for, I think, 170 and 3 touchdowns. So Glen Oak, coming off a good season, they play an excellent opponent like that with one of the top players in the entire state. So, yeah, they got blown out, but you're playing a good team. But if you look at some of the other teams around the area, and I'm looking at, some of the scores here, Billy, of teams that got blown out, Benedictine beat Canton South 43-7. Well, no Poochie Snyder this year for Canton South, right? So, yeah, so now, they've got to rebuild and try and figure out ways to win, without Poochie, and Coach Dennison, will take that loss and learn from it. And go from there. Alliance got blown out by Padua, 34-6. Toronto shut out East Canton, 41-0 last night. So yes, there are some teams that lost some key players at whatever position it was that maybe impacted wins for them. That they've got to now try and next man up, as we always hear that saying. And those underclassmen move their way up the depth chart as junior leaders or senior leaders now in new and bigger roles. And so you wait and see how things, pan out over to a 10-game regular season.
Well, one team that lost some talent, and I think we all kind of had some questions about after a big year last year, the Dukes. Give it to me.
It was the Dukes.
A W, week 1 W for Marlington. They are back on the right track. So they jumped from 1 win to 6 wins under Coach Joe Cardinal in his first year last year, 24-12. They defeat Warrensville Heights. No doubt about it. Terrific to see a local team back at it, rebuilding that program, talking more about that program. I want to make a point and mention something that I talked about on the pregame show Thursday night when we were at our coaches' dinner. I'm talking to other coaches about Marlington. Great to see what they're doing. I go, actually, Coach isn't able to come on the huddle with us because he coaches the JV team also.
Right.
It's on the bus on Saturday, coaches them like they're the varsity squad. Multiple coaches said to me, I should be doing that. That's how you build the program even more, is coaching Saturday morning. Now, some programs a little bigger, they can spare more coaches. They can, do different things. And I know a lot of local coaches at least go to those games, but good for Marlington, on the right track, winning games again, and we love to see it. And we'll be excited to talk with some of their players and maybe Coach Cardinal at some point this season.
Yeah, Coach Cardinal last year, great first year. They don't make the playoffs. I'm sure that's a driving force this year, right? Unfortunately, they go 6-4 and don't get in. That almost everybody does get in. They didn't. Right. So good to see them start the season with a win, and hopefully that leads to many more wins for them and a playoff appearance this year.
Yeah, I'd agree with you for sure on that one. Another winner was McKinley, and they're a hot storyline, especially with a brand new quarterback who we had the pleasure of meeting at our Wishes Can Happen event. I think it's a cool story, Kenny. You were there. Go ahead and mention that.
Yeah, Cam Montgomery and his dad came to Wishes and dropped off a check as a donation to Wishes Can Happen, which is, an unbelievable charitable organization and one that we've been associated with for 17 years. This kid's coming to town his first year, right, in Canton, and he's playing at McKinley, and he went door to door to raise funds to donate, and then he dropped it off with us at our tent for Wishes. And so it was an impressive first impression, if you will, from a kid that we had heard about, right? And his dad as well, very nice gentleman. And they came and they dropped it off. And Cam Montgomery, Thursday night, throws 2 touchdown passes in his McKinley debut. Not high percentage, 4 of 11, I think I saw the stat line was. But he did throw 2 touchdowns. He did throw a pick, which was returned the other way for a touchdown. But in his first game, they got a victory against a good Harding team, 26-19. Nino Hill, 29 carries, $164 on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Jamar Johnson had 31 yards rushing in that game as well. Here's one of the touchdown passes by Cam Montgomery. And so, this is somebody that the Bulldog fans, Pups fans are really excited for as they try and go further than they did last year, playing 13 games, winning 2 playoff games. And of course, they're hoping that maybe he can be the first quarterback since Dominique Robinson to lead them to a victory over their arch rival, Massillon, who has won 8 straight against McKinley.
Yeah, Jamar Johnson from Glen Oak. He transfers over from Glen Oak. I mentioned to JT, he was split back over there. He was not the full-time guy, every carry guy. I mentioned to JT, hey, if they want to get things going smoothly to start the season, they may just say, hey, you're the one back. Here are your carries. Get after it. And from your stat line there, Kenny, it sounds like that's how they started.
Well, Nino Hull, 29 carries. Jamar Johnson, 11 carries. McKinley ran the ball reportedly 49 times as a team. So they were run heavy against Harding. And maybe early in the season, that's what they need to do, as Cam Montgomery and the receivers, DJ Britt had a touchdown, Darius Hill had a touchdown. They all get on the same page and eventually become a more balanced attack. But what do we hear coaches say? We're worried about this week. What do we need to do this week to win? Well, we needed to run the ball 49 times against Harding for Antonio Hall and company on Thursday night, and they got the job done. All that matters is they're 1-0, and they get to correct their mistakes after a victory instead of a loss.
All right, let's shoot to a funny thing involved with this game.
Yes.
Your co-host,
yes,
animated, no doubt. He's excited. Like you said, you guys got to meet the new quarterback, and he did all the fun stuff with you. So he goes to the opener. He's texting me I'm in Oregon. He's shooting me updates. And this is I'll call it a live reaction.
Okay.
From our guy JT at the McKinley game.
There he goes. There he goes. There he goes.
Touchdown.
There he goes. Cam Montgomery's first pass as a Camp McKinley Bulldog is a 40-yard touchdown pass.
How about that? There he goes. There he goes. Oh, that's great, man. JT was hitting us up with updates because they were playing on Thursday night as well. And how about that? I didn't realize that that was his first pass. So how cool is that? I remember Tim Couch for the Browns, his first pass in the NFL was an interception. Well, Cam Montgomery, according to JT, first pass is a touchdown pass as a pup. So that's pretty cool. And great play-by-play by my co-host, JT. Kenny and JT show Monday through Friday, 3 to 7 on WHBC.
Yeah, interesting stuff there from him. And again, that's just the kind of fun stuff in our little WHBC family when things are happening. And I love how we're connected, the different games, right? You talked about Mark steps in for you because we're on the road. Frank Salona, Derek Philo, Ethan Jenkins joins the team this year. We got a good group, and that's what comes with, and you've seen this logo right there, 80 years of high school football on WHBC. You get YouTube, you get radio, you get stream, different crew members, different things happening. More than happy to bring it to people. And we have had a very exciting year already. We're only 5 games in, 1 week in, coaches dinner, everything happening with that, Kenny. Really, really great. Now I want to talk about a new addition.
Real quick, I just want to make sure you got something. Did you get my text message about Coach Slates that you need to send him a link?
I got Coach Slates. He just jumped on.
Okay.
So yes, we got him.
All right, because I was like, it was a late ad, and I'm like, hey, we got a guy threw for a touchdown pass in a 35-0 win on Thursday night in the Battle of 13th Street, so we got to get Coach Slates on with us. So, Billy, let's do that, and then we'll get to what we've added to this year's Saturday morning huddle. All right?
Yeah, and here he is, Coach Slates. Good morning. Quite the intro from Kenny Rhoda. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
We are
Coach.
good. We are good. Excited to have you, and a big win for you. Thursday night, I'm trying to keep track of my games here. Thursday night, you guys played. So, first off, Coach, you guys win Thursday. What do you do on a Friday?
Yeah, after a game like that.
Yeah, we get into St. V's. So
How about that?
Move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coach, 35-0. You get the win, and it was a closer game. You guys were in charge early, 21-0. Then you had some chances. Your defense. Let's start there, and then we'll get to the touchdown pass. You pitch a shutout, hold them to under 200 yards, and create some turnovers. What was the key defensively?
Yeah, I mean, we played pretty good defense. We just got to be more physical. We were gap sound, and we did those things right, so that was always good. But we just got to be more physical and play tougher.
But you pitched a shutout, Coach. 35-0. You want what? Was that the Coach Wakefield in you saying that now that he's your defensive coordinator, or what?
Yeah, I mean we preach that every day, and it's just the fact of the matter. It's gonna get tougher as we go. So we just got to keep playing better each day, every play.
Coach, I'll ask you a similar question that I did Coach DeGeorge. A lot of local teams struggled, had some issues coming out of the gate. You guys came out firing. Anything you did over the offseason that you felt benefited to a week one readiness?
I mean, we had a veteran group this year. We got a lot of guys that played last year, so that always helps. And when we bring back as many starters as we did, it's going to be beneficial for us, especially on the defense side of the ball.
Coach, I see a number of guys contributed offensively, running the football and throwing the football for you as you put up 35 points. And here it is, Coach. All right, take us through this. Right, give us the call here. From the sideline to the huddle, and you get the touchdown pass there from Austin Maddox to Luke Wolf.
Yeah, it was a big turnaround there, and we got the ball down near the goal line, and we just wanted to throw it up to see if we could go up and get it, and we were able to complete it and get a score. So that was good to see. And Maddox threw a great ball, and
here it is,
able to get it.
So is this? I don't want to say an alley-oop pass, but you're taking advantage of the size.
Yeah, yep, for sure. We got two tall receivers on either side, so we'll just we'll go to either one of them. So it's good.
Coach, atmosphere-wise, what was it like for you guys opening up on a Thursday?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, we do it every year, so it's gotten regular now. So it's, but yeah, it was good. It's a good experience, and a lot of fans there, and especially with it being against Central right down the road. So Thursday night, I don't mind it on the opening night.
I have to ask, Coach, what was it like? You played for him. You were an assistant under him. Now he's an assistant with you as Keith Wakefield comes back to Perry at Wakefield Field, right? Stadium. So what was that whole atmosphere like for you on the sidelines? Or was he up in the press box and he wasn't with you on the sidelines? Share it with us how that all went down.
No, he's on the sidelines.
Okay.
And it works great, and he does a great job, obviously. And he brings a different presence with the kids, and they like I've told the kids, told you guys before, is the kids don't necessarily know him as a coach. I mean, he came back last year and helped a little bit, but none of these guys had played for him, so they don't really know him like that. They know his name's on the stadium, and they know what his accomplishments are. So he brings a certain aspect of earned respect and what the kids are gonna look to him as. So that's good. But sideline wise, he's nothing. I mean, just like 5 years ago. So
that's great.
Yell at him to get off the field, and now you know how that goes.
Yeah, really fun, Coach. I know that's been a fun storyline for you guys, and then of course opening on Thursday night. Terrific win for you. And anything you want your fans to know about your team this season and what you guys are hoping to bring?
I mean, we got a set of expectations that we're looking forward to, and we just gotta have follow through on it on our kids' end, our coaches' end, everywhere, buying into what we're expecting to do this season. So.
Coach, I'm looking up at our schedule. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. Week 4, Lake at Perry, a hell of a Federal League matchup, but also our first home game, and that'll be the first chance for the 37-37 Kitchen to defend its title in the WHBC Press Box Food Fight Challenge. Is Chef ready for the challenge?
Yeah, I think he is. I think they got some new things going this year, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it,
Coach.
Coach.
Accommodations this past week, I don't think they have a shot of getting it out there in Oregon. So,
Coach, it was a heck of a trip for us. A lot of fun, but your team starts off the right way with an impressive win in the Battle of 13th Street. Congratulations on that win. Best of luck this coming week. Thanks for joining us on short notice on the Huddle, and we'll see you soon. All right.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
There he is. Love that guy. Such a fun guy. All right. I didn't mean to interrupt you before, Billy, but I wanted to make sure because, like I said, this was a last-second ad, and this is what we can do on the Huddle, right? So I wanted to get Zach on, but now share with everybody the special addition to this year's Saturday Morning Huddle.
Yeah, we are very excited to introduce the Mary Ann Donuts Sweet Play of the Week. Kenny, you're talking to a donut guy.
Yep.
Best breakfast food there is, in my opinion. Best way to wake up on a Saturday morning. I promise going forward, I'm going to have a box right here to kind of show off with Oregon. Things were a little hectic, but we are very excited to make this addition to the Saturday Morning Huddle. You and I talked, our group talked. We all kind of had some input on that. Let's talk and let's take a look first at our Mary Ann Donuts Sweet Play of the Week. And there it is.
Goal line stand, Billy, as time expires.
And the sweet taste of victory, right? We're talking about with something like that. Huge win, opening week on a Thursday night, and you get that sweet taste of victory. Look at that terrific celebration there for Fairless at the end of that one. So we are proud and very, very happy to have Mary Ann Donuts on with us every Saturday morning. And we will be doing the Sweet Play of the Week every single week. And we thank Mary Ann Donuts for jumping on and supporting high school football.
Absolutely. What's your favorite donut? What's your favorite flavor? Come on, let's go.
I'm a classic chocolate icing with the rainbow sprinkles. I love it.
You like the sprinkle sound. I'm torn between, I like the classic, just sugar, right? Mm-hmm. Regular donut, sugar on it, okay? But I also am a cinnamon guy. So anything, the bear claw, cinnamon this, cinnamon twirl, cinnamon twist, whatever it is. Give me either one of those, and I am good to go. But if I have my choice of everything, Billy, okay, because those are the standards. I like the apple-filled cinnamon donut, right? You want a little something inside that donut along with that cinnamon flavor on the outside. So if I'm ranking them, I'm going apple filled with cinnamon frosting or sugar on top. Then I'm going the old classic sugar and then the cinnamon twist. Those are the Roadman's top 3 donut flavors.
Get over to MaryAnnDonuts.com, figure out your location. They have locations. They're also in stores.
Right.
So get all your info on where you can get some Mary Ann Donuts every Saturday. I mean, football's done. You wake up, victory or defeat.
I expect you to be eating one on next week's show. That's what I expect.
You don't got to sell me on that. Proudly,
okay.
I will have a donut or two while we're watching highlights or while the coaches are joining us. Maybe ask them what their favorite flavor is, depending on timing there.
I think we should. I think that's a great idea. Players as well as coaches. Every week now, I think we start keeping track of what, every coach and player's favorite flavor of a donut is. And Billy, we had a number of plays we could have went with, right? We could have went with a couple of great plays in that Massillon NFL Academy UK game. We could have went with the 2-point conversion with DeGeorge scoring on the block, lead block from Charlie Christopher. So there were a number of ones we picked, but that defense in week 1 to secure the victory 21-14 in that matchup between Sandy Valley and Fairless and Coach Sarbaugh and company. I think that was a good choice, and kudos to them. Frank Salona, look at that. He likes the simple Frank, simple glazed donuts. There you go. That's
there it is.
Everybody, and here's the great thing about it. Every flavor of a donut is good, right? There are no bad flavors of donuts.
Yeah, for sure. And I couldn't get sweet taste of victory out of my head. I kept thinking about that over and over this morning. So we're very excited to have Marianne Donuts on board with us. We'll do the sweet play of the week every single week with when you join us here on the Saturday Morning Huddle. So we'll talk more about that, and we'll get to our other sponsor later and thank them. Kenny, I want to get back to Oregon for a second.
Okay.
Talk a little bit more about that. So you had the game itself, which we went over earlier. When we're on YouTube and Facebook, you can always rewind and watch different segments. That was one aspect of it, was the matchup, the players, the coaches, everything going into that one, right? Second aspect, and you're looking at it right here, was the field, was everything going on during this game. And I'll play the highlights so everybody can kind of get a look. I will say Massillon probably brought out about 300 people, which I thought was terrific. And we had a lot of people asking, where are they going to put the fans? Where are the fans going to sit? What's going on? It was a amusement park, theme park. I know some may not relate to this, but it was a free play and a video game where there's just places to sit everywhere, all around the stadium, behind the benches, behind the end zone, corners. I mean, it's not like there were bleachers you had to go up in and a divider and all this different kind of stuff. So that was one aspect of it. NFL Academy did not have many fans. Right. I actually met a couple of the parents of the kids and talked to them. I will say 25 fans. So it's very weird to have a team score or get a fumble or a huge hit, and it's just nothing. No noise, no reaction. The sideline a little bit, right? But, I mean, I'm on the opposite sideline. It's not swinging anything momentum-wise. And I'll say I know what it's like at a Massillon game, home or away. And, unfortunately, it just couldn't be like that with the game being so far away. So those two aspects there. Third aspect, and I know you guys had headphones on, so you didn't really gather this, and I'll do my best to explain it. There was music playing start to finish. There was never a break in the action when music stopped. Even when the referees talked, there was music playing, right? So at a stadium, music plays, the band plays, stuff plays, not during the game, not while players are carrying the ball, dropping back to pass. I mean, Jalen Slaughter's dropping back to pass, rolling to his right. He's got 3 guys in his face, and Return to the Mac is blaring throughout the entire stadium. Run DMC's blasting as these guys have a ball in the air trying to go at it and bat it down. Definitely weird atmosphere. And I'll also say the warm-ups, right? There was a girls' flag football game before. So Massillon is in a grassy area sending out different groups to warm up before the game. So no doubt about it, this was a different atmosphere for a football game.
And for people that maybe just are joining us, we were in Oregon at the Nike Kickoff Classic, and the field was a soccer field turned into a football field in the middle of a park area. It is actually Ronaldo Field, one of the great soccer players of all time. They honor him. There's a statue outside of it, and they turned that into a football field. And you see the roll-up goalposts, and you see the trees surrounding it and everything. There are no bleachers. It's not a stadium. As Billy said, it's a park setting. It's kind of like the movie Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. Well, they did that for baseball. Well, they built a football field, sort of, on the Nike campus in Beaverton, Oregon is where we were at. And that's where Massillon beat the NFL Academy UK 35-20. And here they are celebrating. Our guy Matt James from Nike handing the trophy there to Nate Moore as the winners of the Kickoff Classic. And Nate very happy, as were the players, to get the victory.
Overall, great experience for them. We joined them on Wednesday. They had been there since Tuesday. Really felt like they enjoyed themselves. Felt like fans that had come to see them enjoyed themselves, and also people back home, right? So that was one of the reasons we went, not just to bring the broadcast, but to give people a little bit of a look what the Tigers were doing while they were out there. Let's shoot here real quick, Kenny, to Coach Nate Moore after the big win.
Okay.
Here with Coach Nate Moore as Maslin, a 35-20 winner in the 2024 Nike Kickoff Classic. Got the trophy right here. Coach, your thoughts first on the game itself.
Best coach in the nation. I mean, it was a whale of a ball game, hard hitting ball game. Two really physical teams, and Tigers came to play. You just keep chopping, keep playing hard. We didn't make every play that we wanted to make tonight, but we made enough, and Tigers victory.
Not a regular football stadium, Coach. We got music playing. We got limited fans. What'd you think of the atmosphere today?
Yeah, but indifferent. We just need 100 yards going this way.
Going forward, what do you want to clean up, expand on from this game?
I mean, we'll talk about that later.
Any other thoughts on your trip to Oregon?
The whole week was unbelievable. We're so honored and lucky to have Nike as a partner. Thanks to Matt James for the invite. That guy's unbelievable. Took care of us, and what a week for the Tigers. So just couldn't be more happy.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
And again, they are a Nike elite school there. I think there are 30, 35 of them, whatever it is, throughout the country. And, they've got the Nike gear. And so they had the opportunity to go there. And you heard him say, thank you to Nike for taking care of us. Well, we want to thank all of our sponsors who took care of us, Billy, to allow us to go to Oregon, right? To bring that back to Stark County. So everybody that was involved with our radio broadcast, we can't thank you enough. And we hope that the broadcast did it justice. I think it did. It was a unique experience for us, Billy, just as it was for the players and the coaches from Maslin.
Yeah, I'd agree. Going out to Oregon, seeing Oregon as a state was one thing. Seeing the Nike facility was one thing. Being a part of the game was another thing. So we had a lot going on. Really happy to kind of bring that experience and get it back to Stark County and let people see. And again, Pam Cook helped organize that. Larry Gothrop helped organize that. So we appreciate them. And it was a heck of an opportunity. Really, really fun. And look, I know, there's some jawing from other fans, and I had talked to other fans locally leading up to it. They picked one Stark County school, one team in the country to go to Oregon and play in this game. There used to be 4 teams they would pick. Now they picked one because they picked the NFL Academy from overseas. So they picked one U.S. team. They picked Maslin. It was an extremely exciting opportunity, really, really fun opportunity for both, again, our team, but the Maslin Tigers program. You could see how much fun Nate Moore was having. The players were having a great time running around. And, I talk about room to warm up and things. They were loving it. I think they really enjoyed mixing it up and something different. And not the Tigers' most clean game and fun game and start to finish great, but I think they showed a lot of spurts of what they will be throughout this season.
Yeah, they started off with a win on the road on a short week, if you will, Thursday night, and against a team that they had never played before. So a great win for them. And again, Billy, I go back to the Nate Moore talking about being partners with Nike. Let's give a shout out to our title sponsor right now here, joining us again on the Saturday morning huddle, and that's Brockers Import Automotive. We really appreciate them believing in this show and wanting to be a part of it. So thank you to Brockers Import Automotive, serving the automotive needs of import, exotic, and domestic car owners since 1946. They are family owned and operated and are located on Altman Road in North Canton. So thank you so much for supporting high school football and allowing us to do what we do each and every Saturday morning.
Yeah, and you can get a look there at all the services Brockers offers, different vehicles, different things you need for your vehicles. And you said it best, Kenny. They wanted to be a part of this show and be a part of Stark County football for the second year in a row. We had such an exciting first show, a lot of fun, a lot of great highlights, a lot of great guests. We appreciate all the coaches that jumped on with us. And of course, our crew. I got to thank, Derek Philo gives me video. Frank Salona did those interviews. We'll have all our YouTube game highlights throughout the year. And again, you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel. The pocket schedules on there, if you can see, I'm trying to get the angle right because I'm reversed. On here, QR code on the back. When you click that QR code with your camera, takes you to our schedule. So not only are you seeing your team's full schedule, you can see, okay, my team's live on YouTube in week 6. Oh, my team's on the radio in week 2. Oh, we play Perry, this week on the road, and it'll be the WHBC stream game of the week sponsored by Sarda. So get one of these bad boys. It's a can't miss.
We got all the scores down below. Let's just run them down real quick before we get out of here. Billy Maslin wins over NFL Academy 35-20. McKinley, a 26-19 winner over Harding. Fairless, that thrilling victory, 21-14 was the final there as Fairless beats Sandy Valley. Perry with a 35-0 shutout of Central Catholic. You got Villa Angela St. Joe's beating Glen Oak 42-7. Let's see here. Lake, thrilling double overtime win over McKeesport 36-35. Bookdale takes care of Hoover. We talked to Mark Miller about that game. A blocked field goal there at the end of regulation gives them the win. Bookdale over Hoover. We've got Marlington. Joe Cardinal, we mentioned him. 24-12 winner over Warrensville Heights. Northwest, we didn't mention them. Hey, kudos, Northwest and Coach DeMarco off to a great start with a 29-14 win over Norton this week. Melbourne beat Valley Christian 36-16. Smithville shut out Tuslaw 17-0. Campbell beat St. Thomas 48-0. United 27-0 over Minerva. Dover took care of Green 28-24. It was Benedictine beating Canton South 43-7. Alliance comes up on the short end to Padua 34-6. Toronto blanks East Canton 41-0. And New Philly in a close one against Louisville. New Philly wins it 12-7. And that'll do it for this week's Saturday morning huddle. Great job. I need to go take another nap to get caught up after being on West Coast time. So I think I'm going to go do that now that we're done.
Yeah, I agree with you. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Again, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tons of content. Everything from Oregon's up there. Everything we'll be doing going forward is up. Again, you can watch us every Saturday on Facebook or YouTube live.